Have you heard all the buzz around Ozempic lately? It seems like everybody's talking about it on TV, in commercials, even in waiting rooms. But if you're living a life after organ transplant, you might be wondering, what exactly is Ozempic? What are the side effects? And could it actually help someone like me? Today, I'm going to break it all down in the simple terms and then share with you my personal story as I have started using Ozempic, what it's done for me, and what you might need to know before you proceed under your doctor's care. Hey folks, welcome back to Transplant Help, where I attempt to do my best to advocate, educate, and motivate fellow transplant patients. My name is Jim Merle, and I've been living with heart transplant for over a decade at this point, and I've learned through experience what transplant life is like, and I like to try to share that as often as I can. So first off, we answer the question, what exactly is Ozempic? Ozempic is the brand name for a drug called Semaglutide. It's primarily approved to treat type 2 diabetes by helping control blood sugars, but over time, doctors began to notice that it does lead to weight loss, and that's why it has gained so much popularity and attention lately. For us as transplant patients, where weight management and heart health can be a challenge, Ozempic has some potential benefits that go beyond the blood sugar itself. Now let's talk about some of those potential benefits for transplant patients. For one, it does help lower your A1C and control blood sugar. It can also help to protect your heart and kidneys and often leads to weight loss, which can be crucial if you gain weight, for example, after your transplant on high-dose steroids. That typically does happen. Well, that all sounds promising, right? Well, not exactly. As with any medication, you also must consider there is an upside, but generally some downsides as well. Possible side effects of this medication include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, especially in the first few weeks. A feeling of fullness or even mild stomach discomfort can be a part of this, as well as some rare and serious side effects, which may include pancreatitis or thyroid issues, which is why you need to be under close medical supervision. And remember, because of the medications we take after transplant, you should never, ever, ever start something like Ozempic without your transplant team's approval. Not just your general practitioner, but your actual transplant team. Now, as far as my personal story with Ozempic, let me take you back to where it all started. Back on May the 19th, at my annual transplant follow-up, I found out that my A1C had climbed to about 6.6, which officially put me over the threshold for type 2 diabetes. My team started me on a medication called Jardiance, only 10 milligrams. They encouraged me to go home and try to lose somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 pounds. At the same time, they referred me over to an endocrinologist, which they said would be able to give me much better advice and really manage the whole situation much better. Now, it just so happened a few days later, I actually got a stomach virus, and that caused me to lose about 6 pounds over the weekend. Not exactly the way I wanted to lose the weight, but at least I was moving things in the right direction. Follow up with that on June the 6th. I did meet with an endocrinologist. She was fantastic. She immediately advised me that I was on the right path with the Jardiance. However, she advised me there were other options available that could kind of help me overall. Medications like Ozempic. She advised me about all the side effects, the issues that were potential there, warned me about the medication, but at the same time told me that it could be a really good thing for me, especially as for helping me get my A1C in control, potentially losing that 10 to 15 pounds relatively quickly and getting things kind of back on the right path. After some back and forth discussion of all the issues involved, I immediately agreed with her, yeah, that might be something I'd like to try, albeit she was not pushing the medication on me, only making suggestions. We continued to discuss it, and finally I agreed fully, yeah, I would try the medication and see her back in about 2 to 3 months for a follow-up and see how things were going. Now, I wasn't necessarily overweight or obese by any means. I weigh 204 pounds and I'm 6'1", so kind of in a decent range, but a little overweight, particularly with the belly fat. She warned me that after each weekly injection, I might, quote, feel like I've had a gastric bypass. She said your appetite will almost be gone and you will have nausea and diarrhea at times. And let me tell you, she was exactly right. After my first injection, which was on about June the 10th, within hours, my appetite just kind of vanished. It completely disappeared. In the next few weeks, I realized I actually had to convince myself to eat. It was not something I desired, something I had to determine to do. For the first 3 to 4 days after injection, it is not unusual for me to look up and realize I haven't eaten a bite until supper time. For example, just yesterday, I ate one orange, a little small, one of those cutie things, easy peel stuff. I ate that for lunch, and I managed to eat only a part of a single cheeseburger at supper. That was very different from my past and really shocking to see that. But I just wasn't hungry. I'd gone that far for the whole day. I try to eat somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 to 1,500 calories each day because I know that's at least going to sustain me and help to give me enough energy to get through the day. Because again, to be honest, I'm just not hungry. Because I know I need fuel for my body, I press on, I do what I can. And here's the thing. When you do eat foods that don't fit your diet, you do sometimes pay the price. It's not unbearable, but you feel it. So I've learned to watch what I eat, not only how much I eat, but what I eat, so I can get the best results possible. So the best advice I can give you, increase your eating of fruits and vegetables. Yes, I get that fruits have natural sugars in them, but it's nothing like eating processed sugars or sweets. And it's far better for you and helps your body to kind of maintain that energy level that you're going to need. As for the results so far, I'm about 32 days in to be exact, time of recording the video, and I've lost 23 pounds. My A1C has already dropped from 6.6 down to about 5.4, and I'm noticing a real difference in my life. I will add this though. It can also affect your mood. Even though one of the side effects is your brain feels as if it is not hungry, I feel like the other side of my brain knows better, and I become what we call in the South hangry. That's hungry and angry at the same time. I'll admit that. I'm not a real peaceful person to be around, but I think that'll adjust itself out over time. I monitor my weight, my blood sugar, my blood pressure, and my heart rate every single day. I log it into an app on my phone, and overall, I feel lighter, healthier, and I'm beginning to get more energy. Again, in the beginning, I didn't have much because when you eat that low a calorie content, you don't really have the fuel to go through the day. But as things get better and I get more used to this and adjust to it, eating when necessary, I think I'm doing pretty well so far. I can definitely feel myself sitting up straighter, walking taller, and such as that because I just don't carry the weight I once did. Yeah, part of me to the extent does miss the way I used to eat. Cheeseburgers, chili dogs, pizza, they're among my tops, and eating tons of that. That was a lot of fun. But at the same time, I really don't have the appetite for that anymore. That's been a blessing in disguise. So here's the big question. Would I recommend Ozempic? Yes, with caution. Under the direction of your transplant team, and only if you're willing to monitor yourself carefully and make smart choices and decisions. Don't use this like a magic shot that you can jab into your belly or leg and not have to worry about anything. Diet and exercise are still extremely important, and particularly making sure your caloric intake is proper for each day and follow up blood work just to make sure you're not becoming deficient in any area is very, very important. Again, being managed by an endocrinologist, someone who really knows the medication and the situation, as well as being overseen by your transplant team, I think is going to make all the difference in the world. For me, it's been challenging, but absolutely worth it. My health is improving, my numbers are better, and despite the ups and downs, I feel like I'm on the right track. If you're considering Ozempic, talk with your transplant team first. Don't just jump in with both feet because it's popular, and make sure that it is right for you. And if you've already been on it, I'd love to hear your experience in the comment below. With that being said, thank you so much for watching here on The Transplant Helper. Again, my name is Jim Burrell. I want to encourage you until next time, stay stronger, my friend.